How many of you remember your high school days? Yeah, I knew I'd get a few of you with that one. You know, some of us remember them fondly, some of us not so much. Well, I remember one very specific important thing about my high school days, and that's that our French club sold flowers every year for Valentine's Day. It was their annual fundraiser and the most exciting moment of the whole year. The whole entire week, right before the big day, they would set a table right in front of the cafeteria where it wouldn't be missed, so students could come and order for their boyfriend, their girlfriend, maybe even a best friend, their flowers. On the big day, the band would arrive with these 5-gallon buckets, pickle buckets, full of flowers, red ones, pink ones, even white ones. Excitement would fill the halls as the French club members would run around and deliver those flowers by hand to the classrooms. I remember myself sitting in Mr. Herschel's government class, wishing, hoping, and praying that I would get one of those flowers, that one of the students would knock on the door, come in, call out my name, and hand me, preferably, a red one. That's not what happened. Instead, as the noise died down in the hallways and all the other students sat admiring their flowers, complete with little notes of endearment, I doodled paisley swirls down the edge of my government folder, smiling and pretending that it didn't matter. Because at the time, I didn't have a boyfriend, and neither did I have a best friend. So getting one of those flowers would have been a complete miracle. And at the time, I didn't really believe in miracles. And I was having a hard time believing that love would ever find me. If Cupid had an arrow for me, it was definitely bad aim. Of all the things we learn in school, grade school, middle school, high school, and the school of hard knocks, love is the least understood. As an adult, I thought love was something I had to get from other people. People like my parents, a boyfriend, and later, a husband. I thought love was something I had to earn, like a merit badge for doing all the right things. Things like offering to do someone's laundry or mending their socks. It's going to come as no surprise when I tell you that I was a total failure at this love competition. After leaving a 10-year marriage, dropping out of school twice, and quitting several jobs, I realized there was one thing that I still needed to do. I needed to learn to love myself. Now, I know that there's a lot of talk these days about this concept of loving yourself, and it gets a lot of criticism from people who say that it's selfish and narcissistic, and that we should learn to love other people before we learn to love ourselves. But I think that that conversation is just the tip of the iceberg of a much bigger conversation that should be happening about who we are and why we're here. Because I too struggled for years with this idea of self-love. From the outside, it would appear as if I was busy getting all of my needs met, taking care of myself, giving myself things that no one else would give me. Things like manicures, pedicures, massages, new clothes, shoes to go with the new clothes, nights out on the town, a new car. But none of these things made me feel any more loved than the marriage I left behind. However, as I was busy doing all these things on the outside, I was also telling myself things on the inside, really important things. Things like, I am worthy of love. And I don't need to prove myself to anyone. That my value is non-negotiable. And that I do have a divine, distinct purpose in this world. In this lifetime, I intend to live it. Because I discovered something along the way, learning to love myself. And that's self-love is a process and a practice that eventually leads us to our soul, to our authentic self, the place where the universal presence moves through us and out into the world to help others. But when we don't love ourselves, we just expect others to do it for us. And we feel hurt and angry when they don't. or when they don't do it well enough. And I'm here to say that no one else can do it well enough because they don't have the map to our soul. They don't have the key to unlock our authentic self. Only we can reveal those secrets. And we discover those when we learn to love ourselves and when we learn to love the gifts we have to offer. Thank you.